This is a position that can come from either when we're trying to pull our shoulders back to get that shoulders back position, or when we get a little nervous. We tend to come forward and we tend to grip here. When we find our alignment for our body and our most functional posture, the solution for this posture is go ahead and just take your reins in one hand, put your other hand on your back like this. Yep, back of your hand. And then I want you to think about breathing into your hand here and letting the top of your pelvis come back. Our nervous systems are incredible. Our nervous systems are constantly taking in so much information about the world around us. What we experience will help our nervous system register as this is safe or this is dangerous. And that's why finding the right level of challenge is so important. When we can actually view our fear and feel it with an amount of objectivity, fear can lose its power. Without us having to conquer it, we can find freedom from it and we can move through it. Behavior changes in different contexts. Horses in wild bands will have different types of social structures and sometimes some different behaviors than our domestic horses. When we recognize that horse social behavior is much more dynamic than simply having a boss or having this one leader that they look to for direction, this already begins to erode the idea that we need to fill this role for our horse.
People are not aware of listening to them and how much the horses do tell them. And then they just stop telling people and they check out.
When you're making a change, it's better to make just one, to focus on that one. And actually this idea of breathing lower, breathing into our back helps to lengthen our back, helps to lower our center of gravity from that lean forward position, and will make the biggest difference in finding that secure seat. A lot of people think stand in the stirrups for a rising trot. Ooh. See how hard it is for her to stand up. When this happens in movement, it's why as you're going around at the trot, you might feel like, oh, this doesn't quite feel right. And the harder you try to push your heel down, to grip with your lowered leg, the more unstable you're actually gonna feel. A little test that you can use, and you can have your friend do this, is just pulling on the reins. So go ahead and come lean forward. I'm gonna pull, try not to let me pull you forward. She gripped really tightly with her legs to try to keep herself solid, and I was able to pull you forward. So thinking about lengthening your back, letting the top of your pelvis come back. And now I'm having to work really hard and you're super solid. And what happens when our heel is here and we're trying to press on the stirrup in order to rise, or we're trying to squeeze tightly with our lower leg, is that we then have to keep our upper body forward over our feet in order to stay balanced. We bring the leg back, and notice how your leg came back from the hip.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that again, because if your leg's here and you just pick up your lower leg,
still.
That doesn't put you in a solid position, but instead, if your leg's here and we bring it back from the hip, now you're in a nice secure aligned position.